open enrollment for health insurance is active for him right now. We currently have my spouse's premium plan through her work, but we are considering going to a high deductible health plan so we can get an HSA. How do you choose? How do you make this choice? And you kind of started to touch on it when we were talking about kids just now, but can you speak a little bit more to that to help out Jeremiah and anybody else who's going to do open enrollment soon?
You are so much better at details. I'll give the broad, and then you kind of clean it up. Is that first you need to, Jeremiah, you need to write down who your doctors are, if you have any prescriptions, if you have any upcoming medical needs, whether you're doing family growth plans, or if you just, like, I turned a certain age that required additional medical tests and things like. So just write all these things down so you kind of have all the factors that are going to play into it. And then you also need to kind of find out how much subsidy is your employer giving you, because we've seen employers that give you what I would perceive as Cadillac insurance for practically free, because they're just absorbing all the costs. And then there's other plans where the employer portion is just much smaller, and then you need to kind of compare and contrast what the premiums are for the different plans.
When it comes to healthcare, none of us know exactly what's going to happen next year. I mean, we can't plan for those like ER visits or those urgent care visits. But I think what we found is that for most families, it's fairly consistent through time. You don't know what it's going to be, but you can have an idea. And if you have an idea of your healthcare spending throughout the year, open enrollment should be kind of a fun time. And this is the way that I approach, and this is the way I tell clients to approach it. You want to open up a spreadsheet, and you're going to have two different columns, right? And there are really four things that you want to look at to determine which plan should I choose. And it really comes down to mathematics. Thing number one is the premium. How much does this Cadillac plan cost me? And how much does the high deductible plan cost me? Okay, there's number one. Number two, based on my medical usage, how often do I go to the doctor? What kind of doctors do I go see? What kind of medication? All that stuff you said, you have to project out, okay, if I do these things next year, how much will I have to spend if I'm on the Cadillac plan? How much will I have to spend if I'm on the high deductible plan? Well, obviously, in very high health spending years, like in years that you have a baby or have a major surgery or whatever, the Cadillac coverage may make the most sense. But if you're a young family or a healthy family or not a big healthcare user, odds are your costs for healthcare are going to be pretty low. So that's not going to it's not going to be substantial on that plan. Third thing, employer incentives. Does your employer put money into a health reimbursement account or health savings account for you? And then last, your tax savings. If I do the HSA and I get a tax deduction, how much accrues to my ledger? Well, you take those four rows and just add them up. And mathematically, you figure out, oh, wow, if I do the Cadillac plan and I have a baby this year, I'm going to come out way ahead. Or, man, if I don't use a ton of healthcare and I don't have anything outside of just normal procedural stuff, and I max out the HSA and I get the tax savings, I'm going to come out a lot better. I would literally line up those four rows, do the math, and I would repeat that process every single year at open enrollment. That's the way that I do it.